When it comes to bold moves on the global stage, Canada may just be shifting into a higher gear. You're tuned in to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit, where we don't just track vehicles, we track the geopolitical turns that drive the auto world too. Today, we're diving into a headline that's got engines revving and eyebrows raising. The possibility of Canada forging deeper ties, or even membership, with the European Union. Sounds wild? Maybe. But as you'll see, it's not as far-fetched as it seems. Let's break down the key drivers behind this conversation, from shared history and strained U.S. relations to powerful economic incentives. Number 1. Shared roads, shared routes, Canada's European DNA. Canada isn't just inspired by Europe, it's practically built on it. From its colonial foundation under France and Britain to its bilingualism and parliamentary democracy, the country runs on a European engine. The echoes of that influence still resonate today. Just look at its legal systems, social programs, and political structures. And when it comes to values, they're aligned like a perfectly tuned V8. Canada's devotion to universal healthcare, human rights, and multiculturalism mirrors many of the EU's core principles. That's why collaborations in peacekeeping, environmental policies, and international governance come naturally between these two partners. Then there's the Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, CETA. Since 2017, this agreement has turbocharged trade by eliminating tariffs on 98% of goods between Canada and the EU. It's a clean example of economic synergy, built on mutual trust and shared vision for sustainable growth. With history and ideology syncing like gears in a well-oiled transmission, the idea of Canada integrating further into the EU isn't entirely off-road. It might just be a new route worth exploring. But historical roots aren't the only reason Canada's glancing east. Recent bumps in the US relationship have prompted a closer look at alternative alliances. Number 2. US relations hit a pothole, searching for smoother roads. Let's be honest. Canada's ride with the United States has been a bumpy one lately. Tensions revved up under Donald Trump's administration, especially with the 2025 tariffs slapped on Canadian steel and aluminum. That move didn't just dent Canada's economy, it triggered a nationwide rethink of who its real allies are. From there, Canada looked east. Not out of nostalgia, but strategy. CETA provided a fresh lane, one not clogged with protectionist traffic. With easier access to European markets, Canadian businesses began to appreciate the benefits of shifting gears toward economic diversification. And when Trump tossed around provocative ideas like turning Canada into the 51st state, it sparked more than a few heated conversations. For many Canadians, that kind of rhetoric waved a red flag over sovereignty and drove home the appeal of aligning with partners who actually respect national independence. At the heart of it, these tensions aren't just political potholes, they're signs on the road pointing toward a new destination, one where Canada isn't just reacting, but proactively steering its foreign policy to avoid over-reliance on any single partner. And with new directions come new opportunities, especially in trade, energy, and strategic influence. Before we venture further, we'd appreciate it if you could hit that like and that subscribe button. This supports us in connecting with more auto aficionados just like you. Now let's change lanes and navigate towards our next point. Number 3. Trade, torque, and a strategic shift. So what would Canada get out of being in the EU's driver's seat? For starters, direct access to a single market of over 450 million consumers. That's like opening the throttle on trade, especially for Canadian industries looking to scale beyond the familiar North American grid. But it's more than just trade. Canada's natural resource horsepower, especially in energy, makes it a valuable partner for Europe's transition away from unstable energy suppliers. Whether it's liquefied natural gas or renewable tech, the opportunity for Canada to fuel Europe's future is real and lucrative. And let's not forget security. By partnering with the EU, Canada could expand its presence in defense and cybersecurity alliances, making it a more prominent player on the global stage. Think of it as shifting from a regional co-driver to a global navigator, one with a say in shaping the rules of the road. Sure, EU membership would require major adjustments, legal, political, and public sentiment hurdles alike. But with the incentives lined up like a finely tuned inline six, it's no surprise this conversation is gaining traction. But before this engine can roar, it has to pass some serious regulatory inspections. Number 4. Legal hurdles and political roadblocks. Canada's road to EU membership is packed with legal and geopolitical detours. The biggest bump? Article 49 of the Treaty on European Union. It only permits European nations to apply. And as much as Canadians may feel culturally aligned, geography puts them firmly outside the club. Even if that barrier were bypassed, gaining unanimous approval from all 27 EU member states would be a tall order. Many fear setting a precedent that could invite more non-European applicants, potentially diluting the Union's identity. Then there's the fact that Canada isn't even part of the Council of Europe, a stepping stone many scholars, like Peter van Elsewege, view as crucial for eligibility. Unlike Turkey or Cyprus, which have long-standing ties to the EU, Canada would need fundamental treaty changes to even qualify. Domestically, the hurdles pile up. EU integration would mean major policy shifts on taxes, labor, and environmental standards that could spark debates over sovereignty. Plus, the EU itself is navigating its own internal turbulence, from Brexit scars to bureaucratic drag. In short, while some Canadian leaders may be interested in shifting alliances, the legal and political mechanics make full EU membership a long, winding route, if not a dead end entirely. Still, none of these challenges mean much without public backing. So where do Canadians really stand? Number 5. Divided views and political maneuvers. Public opinion in Canada on EU membership is anything but unified. Around 44% of Canadians support the idea, 34% oppose it, and roughly a quarter remain undecided, highlighting the uncertainty surrounding this bold proposition. Supporters, especially younger urban voters, see alignment with Europe as a smart, forward-looking pivot. With shared values, economic opportunities, and social policies reminiscent of the EU model, many view it as a chance to reduce reliance on the increasingly volatile US. Prime Minister Mark Carney's diplomatic visits to Paris and London, skipping Washington, sent strong signals that Canada is eyeing new alliances. His statement about the need to make independent decisions in a multipolar world has fueled speculation of a strategic shift toward Europe. But skepticism runs deep. Critics argue that cultural ties alone don't justify the massive geopolitical leap. Concerns over loss of sovereignty, geographic disconnect, and the EU's internal struggles, like rising populism and bureaucracy, make some Canadians uneasy. Rural voters and older generations in particular remain wary of the EU's distant governance model. Opposition leaders question Carney's clarity, accusing him of chasing European favor while sidelining key US relations. As debates intensify, public sentiment remains the wild card in Canada's global realignment. Verdict: the Great Realignment, a cross-continental dream? Canada joining the EU may not happen anytime soon, but the very fact that it's being discussed reveals something bigger. The gears of global alliances are shifting. While full EU membership might be out of reach without rewriting treaties and redefining continents, closer economic and political ties are still very much on the table. And that's the real takeaway. Canada is tuning up its international strategy, looking beyond its familiar routes and considering new destinations. Now let's put it in reverse and hear from you. Should Canada join the EU, or is geography just too big of a barrier? Would EU membership really benefit Canadian industries, or would it overcomplicate things? Are Carney's signals toward Europe smart strategy or political posturing? Does Canada need to distance itself from the US, or should it double down on North American ties? And what do you think is the best direction for Canada's long-term global strategy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Before we go, don't forget to subscribe to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit, to stay in the loop on vehicle updates, geopolitical moves, and everything in between. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next ride. You can now check out any of the videos on the screen. There's plenty more to explore.